Subscribe now and press the bell icon.
Hi students, today we revised paper 1. There are 7 chapters in paper 1: real numbers, sets, polynomials, pair of linear equations in 2 variables, quadratic equations, progressions and coordinate geometry. Okay, so we revised these 7 chapters. So let us go for first chapter, real numbers. First chapter, real numbers. In this chapter there are very important concepts. First one is Euclid division lemma. What is Euclid division lemma? You know very well. What is that? For given any two positive integers a and b, there exist unique integers q and r such that a is equal to bq plus r. A is equal to bq plus r, where r value is greater than or equal 0, less than b, right? So based on this concept, there will be 2 marks question or 1 mark question or 4 marks question. Okay, so here using this we can find HCF of any two numbers, Euclid's division lemma. Using Euclid division lemma we can find the HCF of any two numbers. Okay, so for example, find HCF of 50 and 70. Okay, for example, find HCF of 50 and 70 by using Euclid division lemma. This is the question, right? How to do? You have to do this one. 70 divide by 50. Okay, so whatever the given two integers, so the larger number should divide by smaller one, that is 70 is divided by 50. So 50 ones are 50 and remainder is 20. Remainder is not 0, so we have to proceed further. Same, this divisor we have to take here. 20 twos are 40, remainder is 10. Again remainder is not 0. So proceed further, this divisor 20, 10 twos are 20, remainder is 0. We have to stop here. This also you have to show in your answer sheet. Don't do in rough for this one. Okay, so here this one we have to write in this way by using Euclid division lemma. 70 is equal to 50 into 1 plus 20. First step. Second step, see, 50 is equal to 20 into 2 plus 10. Again third step, 20 is equal to 10 into 2 plus 0, remainder is 0. So what is the last divisor? That is 10. Last divisor is HCF, that is equal to 10. Last divisor is the HCF. Okay, so this is sometimes they ask for 1 mark and sometimes they ask for 2 marks. Okay, and 4 marks question based on Euclid division lemma. They frame 4 marks question also. How that? See, show that square of any positive integer is of the form, for example, simple one I am taking, 4m 4q plus 1 whole square, that is 4m plus 1. Okay, 4m and 4m plus 1. Show that square of any positive integer is of the form 4m plus 1. Question is like this. So how to do this one? This is the question, 4 marks question. 4 marks. Sometimes they ask cube also. Show that cube of any positive integer is of the form 3p or 3p plus 2, like that. So here solution, how to do this one? Let A be any positive integer and that is what we have to assume here, Q is equal to 4. What is Q here? A is equal to BQ plus R. If you observe here, dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. This is B is equal to 4. B is equal to 4. Let A be any positive integer and B is equal to 4. Divisor is 4. We have to assume this. So by Euclid division lemma, A is equal to, what is that Euclid division lemma right here? BQ plus R, where R is greater than or equal 0, less than B. So A is equal to 4Q plus R, where R is greater than or equal to 0, less than 4. Why? Because B is 4. Right. So what are the R values? R is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Right. R values are 0, from 0 to 3. Less than 4 means up to 3. So here you have to take 4 values for R. So if you take R is equal to 0, R is equal to 0, then A is equal to 4Q plus 0, 4Q. Now squaring on both sides, A square is equal to 16Q square. A square is equal to this one, we can write 4 into 4Q square. That is 4M. That is 4M. We got it. And next, R is equal to 1. R is equal to 1. Then A is equal to 4Q plus 1. And A square is equal to 4Q plus 1 whole square. What will happen? That 16Q square plus 2 into 4Q plus 1. That is 4 into 4Q square plus 2Q plus 1. That is 4M plus 1. 4M plus 1. We got it. 4M and 4M plus 1. The students, they may have doubt. So we got it, 4M and 4M plus 1. Is there necessity to take 2 and 3? Yes, you have to do for 2 and 3 also. So let us take 2 and 3 also. What we will get, we will see. If R is equal to 2, if R is equal to 2, so if R is equal to 2, A is equal to 4Q plus 2, 4Q plus 2. So A square is equal to 4Q plus 2 whole square. That is 16Q square, 2 into 4Q into 2 plus 2 square, 2 square, right? So 16Q square, in all these 4 is common, so 4 is common, or you can take 4Q also common. We'll get 4Q plus, here what we get, 4 is common, 4, and this one also 4 is common, so 1, right? So we'll get here 4Q is not there, so I'm taking that 4 is common, 4Q square, 4Q plus 1. So this we can write as 4M, where M is equal to this one. Okay, so A plus B whole square formula, 16Q square plus 2 into 4Q into 2 plus 2 square, right? 4 I'm taking common, no need of 4Q also. So here 4 taken common, so we'll get here 4Q square, here 4 took out, remaining 2 into 2Q, 4Q and plus 1, right? So 4M, we got again 4M only. And next, if you take 4Q plus 3, means that is R is equal to 3, A is equal to 4Q plus 3. So A square is equal to 4Q plus 3 whole square. A square is equal to 4Q plus 3 whole square. What we get? A square is equal to this one, 16Q square plus 3 square plus 2 into 4Q into 3. So A square is equal to, here I am taking 4 common, again we get 4Q square plus 6Q, here 9 is there, so we can write 9 means 8 plus 1, 8 plus 1 is 9, so we get again 4M plus 1. So see, if we take from 0, 1 means 0 to 3, we get 4M or 4M plus 1. This is 4 marks question. Keep in mind that after getting here 4M and 4M plus 1, you have to take R is equal to 2 and R is equal to 3 also, because 4 marks question. Okay. Next concept is second one, FTA, fundamental theorem of arithmetic, or we can write prime factorization. Okay, so students, you have to understand here, due to lockdown, this small board I have arranged at home. Okay, for further videos I will keep such a big board. Okay, so fundamental theorem of arithmetic, right? So prime factorization, also called prime factorization method. Using this prime factorization method, we have to find HCF and LCM of any two or more than two integers, right? So you know that, for example, find, question is like this: find HCF and LCM of 144, 90 and 154. For example, find the HCF and LCM of 144, 90 and 154 by using fundamental theorem of arithmetic or prime factorization method. Okay, by using fundamental theorem of arithmetic or prime factorization method. So here, how to do this one? First, prime factorize it. 144, 2 table, 2 sevens are 2, 2s are 2 3s are 2, 6 are 2 1s are 2, 8s are 2 9s are 3, 3s are. So 144 we can write as 1 2 3 4 2 power 4 into 3 square. And next 90, 2 4s are 2, 5s are 3 1s are 3, 5s are 3, 5s are 90. You can write as 2 into 3 square into 5. And next 154, 2 table possible, 2 7s are and 2 7s are. And next which table? 3 table not possible, 5 also not possible, 7 1s are, 7 1s are. So that is 154 we can write as 2 into 7 into 11. Now we have to find HCF and LCM. So write HCF is equal to and LCM is equal to. So listen carefully here. What are the factors? You write all the factors here. So what are the factors are there? 2 is there, 3, 5, 7 and 11. Same here also. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. First you prime factorize it. After factorization you write HCF and LCM. Whatever the factors are there, you write all the factors. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Now HCF means you have to see the common factors. Common factors. What are the common here? In 3, round up here. With pencil you can round up. So 2 is there. 3 not there. 5 also not there. 7 also not there. 11 also not there. Only 2 is there. What is the minimum power of 2? 1. See, this is 1. Here also 1. Here 4. So minimum power is 1. And there is no 3 common. So write power 0. 5 also power 0. 0, 0. Okay. So I am writing here 2 power 1, 2. And this is 1, 1, 1, 1. That is 2. HCF is 2. Okay. And next. Here. To find LCM, no need to see common. No need to see common. What is the highest power of 2? 4. Write 4 here. Highest power of 3 is 2. 5 is 1. 7 is 1. And 11 is 1. So 2 power 4, 16, 9 into 5 into 7 into 11. Multiply and write the answer. Okay. So this is the 2 marks question. Find the HCF and LCM of 144, 90 and 154 by using FTA. FTA means fundamental theorem of arithmetic or prime factorization method. Okay, fundamental theorem of arithmetic or prime factorization method. Okay, terminating decimal number and non-terminating decimal number. They ask in bits. terminating decimal number and non-terminating decimal number. Any rational number, for example 3 by 5, simple example. Is it terminating or non-terminating? Without division we have to say that answer. So how to say this one? Without long division we have to check that given number is either terminating or not. 3 by 5, I will say terminating decimal number. Reason, what is the reason? So if you check the denominator, there is only one number, that is 5. Means denominator is in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n. Okay, denominator is in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n. So where is 2? Means m is equal to 0, 2 power 0 into 5 power 1, n is equal to 1. So if any number is terminating decimal number, then the denominator must be in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n. For example, if you take another one, 3 by 12. So what students they do? 12 they factorize it. 2 6 are 2 3 are, right? So 3 by 2 square into 3. 2 square into 3. So here denominator is not in this form, so it is non-terminating decimal number, but that is wrong. What we have to do? We have to simplify first, cancel it. So we get 1 by 2 square. So here also denominator is in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n. So keep in mind that you have to simplify first, you have to write in simplest form. Afterwards factorize the denominator. If denominator is in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n, then the given rational number we can express as terminating decimal number or non-terminating decimal number. This is another concept they may ask in bits half mark in part B. Okay, and next concept is proving irrational numbers. Proving irrational numbers. Proving irrational numbers. This is very important, proving irrational numbers. See here, there are three types. First one is proving monosets, root 2, root 3, root 5, root 7, so on. Proving these numbers as irrational numbers. Next type, 2 plus root 2, 3 minus root 5, 6 root 3 minus 7, like this. These we have to prove as irrational numbers. Next, another type, third one is root 2 plus root 3, root 3 minus root 7, 5 root 2 plus 7 root 3, 5 root 2 plus 7 root 3. This is third type. So these all we have to prove as irrational numbers by using contradiction method of contradiction, right? So this sometimes they ask for 2 marks or 4 marks. This is 4 marks question. Okay, sometimes they ask for 2 marks. If you are very lucky, then they ask for 4 marks. This they ask 2 marks. Sometimes in very rare cases they ask for 4 marks. And sometimes they ask reciprocal of this, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 3. These are very, very important. Every student should practice these type of questions. Compulsory question. If you observe previous papers, there is a compulsory question, that is root 2 plus root 3 minus root 7. These all 2 plus root 2, 3 minus root 2. In pre-final exams also they asked this type of questions. I will explain this one, root 2 plus root 3. How to prove root 2 plus root 3 as irrational number. Take one question. Prove that root 2 minus root 3 is an irrational number. 4 marks question. Okay, how to prove this? So do step by step. Let us take root 2 minus root 3 is a rational number. We assume that let root 2 minus root 3 is a rational number. If it is a rational number, then root 2 minus root 3 is equal to P by Q. We can write in P by Q form or A by B. root 2 minus root 3 is equal to P by Q or A by B, where P comma Q belongs to Z integers and PQ is not equal to 0. Many of the teachers, they say that Q is not equal to 0. Why I wrote PQ is not equal to 0? You will see at last. Okay, so root 2 minus root 3 is equal to P by Q. So again, many of the teachers, they say that directly squaring on both sides. But what you have to do is here, root 2 is equal to P by Q, root 3 transpose there, either root 3 or root 2. Anyone out of these two terms, any one term you transpose to RHS. I am taking this one, minus root 3 transpose there, plus root 3. Okay, so root 2 is equal to P by Q plus root 3. Now you have to do squaring on both sides. Root 2 whole square is equal to P by Q plus root 3 whole square. Squaring on both sides. Square root cancel. 2 is equal to P by Q plus root 3 whole square. P square by Q square root 3 whole square, 3 plus A square plus B square plus 2AB. A is P by Q into root 3. P by Q whole square root 3 whole square plus 2AB. A square plus B square plus 2AB form. Right. So here what I am doing is, this P square by Q square is rational. 3 also rational. What about this term? This is single term. This is irrational. Keep this side only, or you can transpose this irrational part this side and this rational part to RHS. Okay, so I am keeping here this rational part transpose here. 2 minus P square by Q square plus 3 transpose here, minus 3 is equal to 2P by Q into root 3. So here 2 minus 3 minus 1. So P square by Q square minus 1 is equal to 2P by Q into root 3. So now here LCM, P square minus Q square divided by P square minus Q square divided by Q square is equal to 2P by Q into root 3. Right. So now what you have to do is, this 2P by Q, this is also rational part transpose here. P square minus Q square by Q square into this one transposing here, 2P by Q is equal to root 3. Right. So now Q cancel. So we get P square minus Q square by 2PQ is equal to root 3. Right. So what we got here in LHS, P square minus Q square by 2PQ. Right here, that's what I said, that PQ is not equal to 0. Why? Because if I wrote here, suppose if I write Q is not equal to 0, that the meaning is Q can be 0. If Q can be 0 means P into, that is 0 into Q is 0. So this is undefined, that is mathematically undefined. So I wrote PQ is not equal to 0. Right. So now we assumed, what we assumed here, P and Q are integers. Since, this is conclusion must, since P and Q are integers, since P and Q are integers, P square minus Q square by 2PQ is a rational number. Is a rational number. So what happens? This is rational means this one also must be rational. So root 3 also rational. Root 3 also rational. But this contradicts fact that root 3 is irrational. Root 3 is irrational. Why? Because we know that square root of any prime number is always irrational number. That is axiom. Square root of any prime number is always irrational number. Keep in mind that. So we know that fact root 3 is irrational. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. So, by contradiction, root 2 minus root 3 is an irrational number. This conclusion is 1 mark, and this one is half mark, and this is 1.5 mark. Okay, so you should have patience to write this conclusion. Very, very important. See here, p square minus q square by 2pq. Since p and q are integers, p square minus q square by 2pq is a rational number. So this is rational means this also must be rational, but this contradicts fact. What is the fact? Root 3 is irrational. Root 3 is irrational. So our assumption is wrong. So by contradiction, we can say that root 2 minus root 3 is an irrational number. 4 marks question. Next, logarithms. Logarithms are very, very important. For sometimes they ask 4 marks or else 1 mark and 2 marks questions. See here, I will write 3 formulas. These are very, very important. Log of xy to the base a is log x to the base a plus log y to the base a, and log of x by y to the base a is equal to log x to the base a minus log y to the base a, and log of x to the power of m to the base a is equal to m log of x to the base a. These 3 formulas are very, very important. And log 10 value is 1. Log 10 value is 1, and log of a to the base a is equal to 1. Okay, so here what is this logarithm? That is very important. See here, any exponential a to the power of x is equal to n. This is exponential form. A to the power of x is equal to n exponents. We have studied in the previous classes. This one we can write in logarithmic form. Log of n to the base a is equal to x. Log of n to the base a is equal to x. Here base must be positive. A is greater than 0 and n also must be greater than 0. Right. Here, see here, log of n to the base a is equal to x. A must be positive and this n also must be positive. Right. So any question if they give, for example, find the value of log of 125 to the base 5. The question is like this. So how to find this? This one is the question. Solution: log of, let log of 125 to the base 5, that value is a. That value is a. Now this is logarithmic form, convert into exponential form. 5 to the power of a. 5 to the power of a is equal to 125. So 5 to the power of a, 125 we can write as 5 cube. So both sides bases are same. So equate the powers. A is equal to 3. Like this we can find 1 mark question. Find the value of log of 125 to the base 5. So let log of 125 to the base 5 is equal to a. So this one logarithmic form, convert into exponential form, we get a value is 3. So in logarithms they ask expand the logs. So log of 325, for example, expand this. How we can expand this one? 325, factorize it. Which table it is possible? 5 6 5 5 again 5 1 5 3 so log of 5 square into 13. So we have to expand it. This is a log of x into y. So log of 5 square plus log of 13, log 13, that is 2 log 5 plus log 13. This is the expansion. They may ask for 1 mark also. This is expand log 325. So 2 log 5 plus log 13. Okay, remaining sums you can practice. If you have any doubt, write in comment section. Okay, note down this. This is the first chapter. Next we move on to second chapter. Second chapter is sets. Right. In sets chapter we have that concept roster form and set builder form. That is very important. how to write in set builder form and roster form. Set builder form and roster form. Roster form nothing but list form, and this is, so roster form we have to write in set builder form. Set builder form we can write in roster form. And next concept is types of sets. Different types of sets are there, that is finite set, infinite set, singleton set, equal set, equivalent set, and subset, power set, and next cardinal number. Okay, cardinal number, and next Venn diagrams, and basic operations. Basic operations of sets. Okay, these are very easy topics, so you already practiced well. Finite set, infinite set. For each and every one I'll give example for each and every type. Finite set, see 1 2 3 4, set of 1 2 3 4. So finite net means there is countable elements in that particular set. There are countable elements. How many are there? 4. So this one we can write, for example, this is set A is equal to, that is n of A is equal to 4. What is this n of A? Cardinal number nothing but number of elements in set. N of A is equal to 4. And next infinite set, set B is equal to 1 2 3 4, so on. See here, we cannot count the elements, uncountable elements are there, so that's why it is infinite set. And how we can write this is in roster form and set builder form. See, I wrote in roster form, we can write in set builder form. How to write x such that x is a natural number less than 5. X is a natural number less than 5. So this is set builder form and this is roster form. This one, B is equal to x such that x belongs to n. This is set builder form. X such that x belongs to n means, or we can write that x such that x is a natural number. There are infinite numbers of natural numbers. Next, example for singleton set. Set C is equal to, for example, 1. Okay, so here you keep in mind that always these sets we have to represent with capital letters. So this one, roster form, we can convert into set builder form. C is equal to x such that x belongs to whole number, comma, where x is greater than 0 and less than 2. Okay, means any roster form we can convert into set builder form. This is roster form and this is set builder form. Next, equal sets and equivalent sets. At a time I will give examples for these two sets. For example, A is 1 2 3 4 and B is A B C D and C is D B A C. In these three sets, which are equal and which are equivalent sets. So here if you observe, what are the number of elements in n of A? Cardinal number of elements in set A is equal to 4, and n of B, number of elements in set B, also 4, and number of elements in set C also 4. Right, so these three are equivalent sets because same number of elements, equal sets. Then what about equivalent sets? These three are equivalent sets, right? Why? Because same number of elements. Then which are equal sets? B and C are equal sets. Why? Because elements also same. See here, A belongs to B and C, B belongs to B and C, C belongs to set B and C. Each and every elements are there in both the sets. C, A, B, C and D, and number of elements also same. number of elements must be same and those elements also must be same. So B is equal to C. B and C are equal sets. A, B and C are equivalent sets. And subset, what do you mean by subset? If each and every element of set A belongs to B, each and every element of set A belongs to B means A is subset of B. A is subset of B. Let us take one example. A is equal to 1, 2, 3, B is equal to 1, 2, 3, so on 10. So here if you observe, 1 is belongs to A and B, 2 belongs to A and B, 3 also belongs to set A and B. Each and every element of set A present in set B. So we can write that A is subset of B and B is superset of A. Okay, A is subset of B and B is superset of A. So if they ask, question is like this, write all subsets of set A, that is 1, 2, 3. How to write all the subsets? You have to write that set 1 here like this, 2, 3, 1 comma 2 and 1 comma 3, 1 comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 comma 2 over 1 comma 3 over 2 comma 3, and next one is empty set, another one is given set. Is all subsets. Total how many subsets are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is a formula. What is the formula? Number of elements are 3. So number of subsets formula is equal to 2 to the power of n. 2 to the power of n. What is the n? Number of elements, that is 2 cube is equal to 8. So we got 8 subsets. What is the power set? Power set nothing but P of A. P of A is equal to set of all the subsets, that is set of set 1 comma set 2 set 3 like this. Set of all the subsets is called power set. Next is Venn diagrams. You know that you have to represent in first rectangular box. This is universal set. Universal set we have to represent in rectangular box. In this, subsets A and B are another sets which are subsets of universal set. So here see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The question is, what is the question? From given Venn diagram, write set A, set B and universal set. How to write set A? What are the elements are there in set A? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And set B? 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. And mu, universal set, all the elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So here if you observe, what is A union B? A union B means elements belongs to A or B. All the elements. So A union B is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A intersection B. This is A union B. Now A intersection B. A intersection B. The Venn diagram of A intersection B. This one universal set A, B, and the element is 4. This is A intersection B. What is A intersection B? Is equal to 4, like this. Okay. And A minus B. What is A minus B? Elements belongs to A, does not belong to B. So 1, 2, 3. This is A minus B. A minus B. Elements belongs to A, does not belongs to B. Okay. The elements which are belongs to A, only A means here, see here, this B circle is empty, not belongs to B. This is A minus B. B minus A means you have to shade only B. Okay, so these are the based on Venn diagrams. Next, what are the basic operations of sets? First one is A union B, A intersection B. Third one is A minus B, and fourth one is A minus B or B minus A. Right? What do you mean by disjoint sets? Disjoint sets. If A intersection B is empty set, then A and B are disjoint sets. Disjoint sets. Venn diagram for disjoint sets is like this. These are disjoint sets. A and B are disjoint sets. Right. So here they will ask one question, right? A is x is such that x is a whole number less than 6, and B, x is such that x is a factor of 12. C is x is such that x is a prime factor of 255. X is a prime factor of 255. This is the question, and they will give the data like this, and afterwards they will ask find A union B, B minus C. Third one is B intersection C, and fourth one is A minus C, like this. Okay, 4 marks question. This is the second chapter, sets. Next, third chapter is polynomials. In the polynomials, as usual, you know that graph question is compulsory, 4 marks question. Every time they are asking quadratic polynomial only. Draw the graph of the quadratic polynomial, hence find the zeros. That is 4 marks question. And what about 1 mark and 2 marks question? And you know that there are different types of polynomials. On the basis of degree, there are linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial, cubic polynomial, biquadratic polynomial, so on. Right. So here linear polynomial. So what is the standard form of linear polynomial? P of x is equal to ax plus b. Quadratic polynomial, ax square plus bx plus c. Cubic polynomial, ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. And biquadratic, ax power 4 bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus e. These are the different types of polynomials on the basis of degree. What do you mean by degree? Highest power is called degree. What is the highest power of linear polynomial? Degree is 1. Here degree is 2. Here degree is 3. Here degree is 4. Degree is 4. Right. So here one question they may ask, what is the degree of x power 5 plus 3x square 5 power 29? What is the degree of the given polynomial? So many of the students in hurry burry they will write that 29, but that is wrong. What is the degree of the given polynomial? Degree of the given polynomial is 5. Why? Because you have to see the highest power of variable. Highest power of the variable. Degree is here 5. Variable is x. What is the degree of linear polynomial? 1. Degree of quadratic polynomial is 2. Degree of constant polynomial is 0. Degree of zero polynomial is undefined. Okay, so you can visit our previous classes polynomials. There is a important questions I have covered in the polynomial chapter. You can see those videos also, right? So in this, again, the relationship between zeros and coefficients, that is very important. That is quadratic polynomial x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha beta, and cubic polynomial x cube minus alpha plus beta plus gamma into x square plus alpha beta beta gamma gamma alpha into x minus alpha beta gamma, where k, here you have to multiply with one constant k, one constant k. That k belongs to R except 0, you can take any real number. K belongs to R except 0. Okay, and what is alpha plus beta? Here alpha plus beta is minus b by a. Alpha into beta is c by a. Here alpha plus beta plus gamma also minus b by a, alpha beta beta gamma, gamma alpha is c by a, right, and alpha beta gamma is minus d by a. Relationship between zero sign coefficients. Okay, this is another concept, and again in this chapter division algorithm. Division algorithm. What is division algorithm? Division algorithm, p of x is equal to g of x into q of x plus r of x. Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. This is the division algorithm for polynomials. So sums, and for detailed lecture of this polynomial chapter you can visit that, our videos are there, right? So this is the polynomial chapter. In this chapter graph is compulsory question, 100% damn sure question, 4 marks question. Okay, prepare quadratic polynomials graph. Okay, practice number of graphs. So you have to write the scale, don't forget to write the scale, and that quadratic polynomial graph is parabola. You have to get parabola, and linear polynomial graph is straight line. Keep in mind that. Okay, prepare well this chapter and the practice graph. Next, fourth chapter is pair of linear equations in two variables. In this chapter also they ask one graph, 4 marks graph. So what are the pair of linear equations in two variables? a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. This is one equation, pair of, this is one of the pair of linear equations in two variables. So what are the two variables here? X and y. If you consider only this one equation, how many solutions are there? Infinite many solutions. Only one equation means there are infinite many solutions. If I consider one more, a2x b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. These two are called pair of linear equations of two variables. Pair, right? So here condition is there, a1 square plus b1 square is not equal to 0, and a2 square plus b2 square is not equal to 0, satisfying these conditions. Okay, so if you draw the graph of these two equations in the graph, they may intersect, or those two lines may parallel. As I said, the graph of the linear equation is always straight line, either is one variable or two variables, and sometimes they coincide. See here. Okay, if you draw the graph of these two equations, you may, means those two lines may intersect, may parallel or coincide. So when it is possible, so when a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, then one solution, means the lines intersect. Okay, intersect means how many solutions? These two lines are intersecting at one point, so one solution or unique solution. Okay, and parallel, when it is parallel, a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, not equal to c1 by c2, so parallel. So no solution here. a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2. Infinite many solutions. Which type of lines? Coincide lines. These three conditions are very, very important. If you draw the graph of these two equations, pair of linear equations in two variables, those two lines may intersect, may parallel or may coincide. If they are intersect, what is the condition? a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. Parallel means a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, not equal to c1 by c2. If the lines are parallel, there is no solution. If the lines are coincide, infinite many solution. If the lines are intersect, there is only one solution. Okay, and based on this they'll ask the questions. You can practice, do this, try these questions from your textbook. Okay, so we can solve these pair of linear equations in two variables by different methods. As I said, graphical method they ask for 4 marks compulsory question. One graph from third chapter, another graph from this chapter, that is pair of linear equations. You have to draw the graph of 2 equations. Okay, and without graphical method, is there any other method? Yes, there are 2 methods. First one is substitution method. Substitution method, and second one is elimination method. Okay, substitution method and elimination method. Let us take one example and solve this pair of linear equations into variables by substitution method or elimination method. 2x plus 3y is equal to 4, x minus y is equal to 5. So by substitution method, first one is substitution method. Okay, we solve by substitution method. Take 2x plus 3y is equal to 4, x minus y is equal to 5. Take any one of the equations. I am taking second equation. Let us take this is 1 and 2. Take second equation, x minus y is equal to 5 and x is equal to, write one variable in terms of other variable. Either you can take first equation or second equation. So 5 plus y, right? Let this is 3. Now what you have to do is substitute equation 3 in 1. Substitute 3 in 1, equation 1. So in the place of x, so we get 2 into x value is 5 plus y. 5 plus y plus 3y is equal to 4. So now 2 into 5, 10 plus 2y. 2 into y, 2y plus 3y is equal to 4. That is 10 plus 5y is equal to 4. That is 5y is equal to 4 minus 10. So 5y is equal to minus 6. Y is equal to minus 6 by 5. So we got y value. That y value substitute in equation 3. So we get x value. X is equal to 5 plus y. So we get 5 plus y value is minus 6 by 5. That is 25 minus 6 by 5. That is 21 by 5. So x value is 21 by 5, y value is minus 6 by 5. Using substitution method, we got y value is minus 6 by 5 and x value is 21 by 5. So now let us use elimination method. So now use elimination method. 2x plus 3y is equal to 4. X minus y is equal to 5. In this elimination method, you have to make x coefficients are equal or y coefficients are must be equal. See here, if you observe x coefficient is 2. What about here? 1. In first equation a y coefficient is 3. In second equation y coefficient is minus 1, not equal. So what I am doing is, so here if I multiply with 2, we get this is 2x. Here already 2x is there. Here x coefficient is 1. Means second equation multiply with first coefficient and first equation you multiply with second coefficient. So here second coefficient is 1, so multiply the first equation. Here first coefficient is 2, multiply the second equation. So we get this is 2x plus 3y is equal to 4. Second one 2x, 2 into minus y minus 2y 10. Change the signs, minus plus minus. Why I am changing the signs? If you change the sign, then only 2x minus 2x we can cancel. We can eliminate. Here we are eliminating x. So 3y plus 2y, 5y, 10 minus 4 minus 6. So what about y? Y is equal to minus 6 by 5. In substitution method also we got same answer. So this y value substitute in equation 1 means either one of the equation. So x minus y is equal to 5. X minus of minus 6 by 5 is equal to 5. X plus 6 by 5 is equal to 5. X is equal to 5 minus 6 by 5. That is x is equal to 25 minus 6 by 5. 21 by 5. X is equal to 21 by 5. So in elimination method also we got same values. In this chapter, and you have to solve the word problems. Take second exercise and third exercise, you solve them in fourth chapter, and for more detailed I have done one video on pair of linear equations in two variables in previously. You can see that video also. Okay, and you practice graph, compulsory question, 4 marks question from this chapter. Okay, next chapter is quadratic equation, chapter 5. In quadratic equations, there are 4 concepts. First one is check either the given equation is quadratic or not, and second concept is finding the solution of quadratic equation by using prime factorization, that is factorization method, and second one is quadratic formula and completing the square method. And third concept is, what is the third concept? That is nature of the roots, finding the discriminant. Using discriminant we have to find the nature of the roots. Okay, and first one is given equation is quadratic or not. So what are the conditions should satisfy? 2x square minus 5x plus 7 is equal to 0. Is it quadratic equation? Yes. The reason is degree is 2. You have to check degree first. Okay, you have to check degree, and coefficients must be real numbers. Means if you take standard form, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a comma b comma c belongs to R and degree is 2. Degree is 2. You have to check every time, you have to check these two conditions, degree and coefficients. Okay, and next we have to find the solutions of quadratic equation. How to find that? Using factorization method. X square minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 0. Solve x square minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 0 by factorization method. Okay, factorization method. How to solve that? See here, x square minus 4x, we have to split the middle term. How to split the middle term? Minus 4, and here if you multiply this, x square coefficient is 1 and this is 4. 1 into 4 is 4. If you plus r, means if you add or subtract, we should get minus 4, and if you multiply, 4. See here, minus 4 we can write as minus 2 minus 2. This one is minus 2 into minus 2. Okay, so x square minus 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. So what is common here? X is common, x minus 2, minus 2 is common, x minus 2 is equal to 0. X minus 2 into x minus 2 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 2 comma 2, equal roots. Okay, like this we can use factorization method. Okay, this is revision class, so that's why I'm explaining in very fast method. Okay, so for detailed chapter of quadratic equations, you can visit our previous videos. Okay, I explained each and every method clearly. Okay, now this is the revision class, that's why I'm explaining very fastly. Okay, so and next, completing the square method, that is sometimes they ask for 2 marks and 4 marks. That also you can visit our previous class. And next, quadratic formula. What is the quadratic formula? X is equal to minus b plus r minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Using quadratic formula also we can find the solution. And completing the square method, we have to write in either a plus b whole square or a minus b whole square. Okay, and the word problems in this chapter also, word problems are very important. 5.2 and 5.3. 5.3 exercise, you can whatever word problems are there in your textbook, and I have given so many worksheets and you can solve them. Okay, and last one is nature of the roots. So how to find the nature of the roots? Discriminant. What is the discriminant? B square minus 4ac. B square minus 4ac. So b square minus 4ac, based on this value we can find the nature of the roots. How we can find the nature of the roots? Let us see that. So discriminant is b square minus 4ac. So based on this value, discriminant value, so what I said, x is equal to minus b plus r minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, right? So in this, in square root we have that value b square minus 4ac, that is only called discriminant, right? Why? Because square root of negative number is imaginary, right? So here if b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then two real and distinct roots. Real and distinct roots. if b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, then two real and equal roots, If b square minus 4ac is less than 0, then no real roots. Okay, so based on the discriminant we can find the nature of the roots, and based on this we have solved sums also. You can watch our previous videos. These are the 5 chapters. In this chapter also, this is 2 marks question, very important. Okay, practice well. If you have any doubts, you can ask in comment section. Okay, next chapter is progressions. Okay, you don't need to worry. For next batch students, I will make clear videos of each and every chapter. Now because of our exams, I am doing this revision. Right, next chapter is progressions. Briefly I explain this. Each and every point we cannot cover in this one video. So the main progressions, there are different types of progressions, but in your 10th level in Telangana board we have that only arithmetic progression and geometric progression. We don't have a harmonic progression. What is arithmetic progression? In the progression we have AP and GP. So first one, AP nothing but arithmetic progression. What is AP? So AP nothing but if there is a common difference between successive terms, then the given progression is called arithmetic progression. There is a common difference. For example, 2, 4, 6, 8, so on. Right. So is this AP? Yes. Why it is AP? The difference between successive terms 2 and 4. What is the difference? 2. 4 and 6 difference is 2, and 6 and 8 difference is 2. There is a common difference. That common difference is 2. That's why it is arithmetic progression. So what is the general form? General form of AP. How we can write general form of AP? So first one, if I write A, second one is A plus D. What is D? D is common difference. And third one is A plus 2D, A plus 3D, so on. Somewhere we have nth term, that is A plus n minus 1 into D. What is this A plus n minus 1 into D? That is nth term. See here, 2. First term is 2. What about second term? If we add 2, we are getting 4. 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2, 4. And again, see here, A3. How we got A3? 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so like this. So here also, A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 2D means A plus D plus D, A plus 3D, A plus D plus D plus D. We have to add D to the first term. See, first term is independent term, and second, how we got second term? If you add D to the first term, we got second term. Again to the second term, we are adding D, so we are getting third term, like this. So what is this one? A plus n minus 1 into D, that is nth term. An is equal to A plus n minus 1 into D. So A nothing but first term, and n is number of term, and D is common difference. D is common difference. Based on this, they ask the sums 1 mark or 2 marks. Find the 20th term in the given progression and find the 10th term in the given progression from end. Different types of questions. Now what is GP? Geometric progression. So if there is common ratio, there is a common ratio. So general form of GP. General form of GP. What is the general form of GP? AR square, so on, A into R power n minus 1, A into R power n minus 1. This is the nth term. TNR An is equal to A into R power n minus 1. What is R here? R is the common ratio. R is the common ratio. Okay, so nth term in AP is A plus n minus 1 into D, and nth term in GP is A into R power n minus 1. What is R? Common ratio. And what is A? A is as usual first term, and what is n? Number of terms. Okay, so next, sum of the n terms in AP. Sum of the n terms in AP. How to find the sum of the n terms in AP? This is also very important. See, find sum of first 10 multiples of 4. The question is like this. Find the sum of first 10 multiples of 4. What are the multiples? Solution. Multiples of 4. First 10 multiples: 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Okay. So first 10 multiples of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 table, right? So if you observe the given, this series is in progression, means arithmetic progression or not. 4 plus 8, sorry, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 4, 12, 12 plus 4, 16. If you observe, there is a common difference. So this is in AP, this is in AP. Now we have to find sum of these all the terms. So there is a formula, Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. This is the formula. Sum of the first n terms in AP formula, or we can use Sn is equal to n by 2 into a plus l or a plus an. This is the last term. So I am using that sum of the first 10 terms. So what is the first term? Number of terms, how many are there? 10 terms given. 10 by 2. What is the first term? 4. Last term is 40. So 2 ones are 2, 5s are 5 into 44. 5 4s are 20, 5 4s are 22, 20. Okay. So if you add these all, we get 220. Sum of the 10 terms, sum of the first 10 terms. So n is equal to 10. First term is 4, last term is 40. Okay. So like this we can do. So in this chapter we have only 3 formulae: nth term in AP and nth term in GP, and sum of the n terms in AP. We don't have sum of the n terms in GP. Okay. So note down this. You have to practice all the sums. Okay. And practice previous papers also. Right. Let us move to next chapter. Next. 7th chapter is coordinate geometry. The 6th chapter or remaining chapters we study in detail further, but only because of this 10th class board exams, briefly I am explaining these chapters. Okay, so for upcoming 10th class students, no need to worry, I will make separate videos for you. Right, so here coordinate geometry. So right, so first of all, what are the important points in this coordinate geometry? Coordinate geometry is not new chapter for you people, you have studied in 9th class also. So to find the location of object, we use the coordinate geometry. There is a coordinate system, right? So x and y axis and x axis. Here in first quadrant both are positive, and in second quadrant x is negative, y is positive. In third quadrant both are negative, like this. X is positive, y is negative. Okay, so here, so we represent these all in coordinate system. This is coordinate system, first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. This you have studied in your previous classes. Okay, so very important. See, in first quadrant x is positive, y is positive, both are positive. Second quadrant x is negative, y is positive. In third quadrant both are negative. In fourth quadrant x is positive, y is negative. Okay. So distance between these 2 points, this is coordinate point. What is this? This is coordinate point. First one is called x coordinate, second one is called y coordinate. X coordinate is called abscissa, y coordinate is called ordinate. Now the distance between these 2 points, for example, x1 y1 and x2 y2. x1 y1 and x2 y2 are the 2 points. To find the distance between the 2 points, let us take this is A and B. So AB is equal to square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. The distance between the 2 points. So 2 points are x1 y1 and x2 y2, right? And so distance between A x comma y and another one is origin 0 comma 0. How to find the distance between these two? That is square root of x square plus y square. Distance between 2 points is very important. They may ask for 1 mark. And next one is section formula. Section formula. There is a line segment AB. Line segment AB. On this line segment there is a point P which divide the line segment in the ratio m is to n. Dividing the line segment in the ratio m is to n or m1 is to m2. Generally in your textbook they are using m1 and m2. So A and B are the points which are joining the line segment. Okay, and the P point lies on this line segment and divide the line segment in the ratio m1 is to m2. Then that point which is dividing the line segment we can find using px comma y is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2 and m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. This is the section formula. Okay, when we use this formula, that is very important in the question. If A and B are 2 points of a line segment and endpoints of line segment, and the point P which divides the given line segment in the ratio m1 is to m2, m1 is to m2, ratio is m1 is to m2, then that point which is dividing the line segment we use to find this one. Okay, and next, this is the section formula. And next, points of trisection. Points of trisection, very important. And if you observe that board exam papers, previous board exam papers, continuously repeating this question, find the points of trisection. Find the points of trisection. See, what do you mean by points of trisection? AB is a line segment joining with the points A and B, and the points which divide the line segment into 3 equal points. This is very important. Points of trisection. Points of trisection. Right. P and Q are the points which divide the line segment into 3 equal parts. Dividing into 3 equal parts. AP is equal to PQ is equal to QB. Right. So therefore P and Q are points of trisection. Points of trisection. So how to find then? The question is like this. Find the points of trisection of line segment joining with 2 endpoints A 1, 2 and B is 3, 4. Okay, A is 1, 2 and B is 3, 4. Find the points of trisection. So how to solve this one? First, draw the line segment A, B, coordinates of A 1, 2 and 3, 4. Diagram is compulsory. Why? Because if you draw the correct diagram, you will understand that what you have to do. So here this is P and Q. So P and Q are points of trisection. First you have to find P. Right. Draw one more diagram first. A, B 1, 2 and 3, 4. This is P. We have to find first P. Forget about Q. First to find P. So this is 1. See, dividing into 3 equal parts. I said that the points which divide the line segment into 3 equal parts. So here from A to P 1 part is there. From P to B how many parts are there? 2. So P divides AB in the ratio 1 is to 2. P divides AB in the ratio 1 is to 2. The ratio 1 is to 2. So Px comma y is equal to the formula is m1 x2. That section formula we have to apply here. m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2 comma m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. So here m1 is 1. So 1 into x2. This is x1 y1 x2 y2. What is x2? 3 plus m2 is 2, x1 is 1 by 1 plus 2, m1 plus m2 comma 1 into y2 is 4 plus 2 into y1 is 2 by 1 plus 2. So that is 3 plus 2 by 3, and this is 4 plus 4 by 3. That is 5 by 3 comma 8 by 3. Okay. So we found that one point px comma y is equal to 5 by 3 comma 8 by 3. Similarly, you have to find that q value also. How to find q? How to find q? Same. Draw one more diagram now. A, B, A is 1 comma 2 and B is 3 comma 4, and here this is q. Q divides in the ratio 2:1. Q divides AB in the ratio 2:1. Similarly, you can apply the same formula. Instead of taking 1:2, here we will take 2:1. This is points of trisection. What about the collinear points? What do you mean by collinear points? The points which lie on the same line segment are called collinear points. For example, see here, A, B and C. A, B and C. Otherwise take another one, P, Q, R. Which are collinear points from these two? So these A, B and C are collinear points. What about here P, Q and R not collinear? Why? Because Q is not lying on the line segment. Okay. So here AB plus BC is equal to AB plus BC is equal to AC, and means sum of the any two distances is equal to third distance. Okay. So this is we have to prove that one. What we have to prove? Sum of the any two distances is equal to third distance. Then we can say that those 3 points are collinear points. Here PQ are not collinear. Why? Because these 3 points are not lying on same line segment. So if they ask, check whether the given points are collinear or not. So what you have to do? You have to use the distance formula. They will give 3 points. Find AB, BC and CA. Find 3 distances and check that sum of any two distances is equal to third distance. R, area of triangle. Area of triangle is equal to 0. If area of the triangle is equal to 0, then also those are collinear points. What is area of triangle formula? Area of triangle formula half into x1 into y2 minus y3 plus x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x3 into y1 minus y2. Okay, this is area of the triangle. Area of the triangle is equal to half into x1 into y2 minus y3 plus x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x3 into y1 minus y2. This is also important to find area of the triangle. And next concept is slope. Slope of a line segment. If they give 2 points x1 comma y1 and b x2 comma y2, find the slope of the line segment joining with 2 points. What is the formula? y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. There is no modulus. There is no modulus for slope. Slope can be negative, slope can be positive, or slope can be 0. There is no modulus. Keep in mind, some students they keep modulus for this. Slope is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Okay. In this chapter, we have one more concept, that is centroid of a triangle. Triangle joined by 3 vertices. Coordinates of A x1 y1, coordinates of B x2 y2, and coordinates of C x3 comma y3. Right. So here, to find the centroid of a given triangle, there is a formula. Centroid is denoted by gx comma y, that is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. And here you can ask doubt, what do you mean by centroid? Centroid nothing but point of intersection of the medians. What do you mean by medians here? A line segment drawn from vertex to the midpoint of opposite side. AD is the median and BE also median. and CF also another median. A line segment drawn from vertex to the midpoint of opposite side, that is called median, right? D is the midpoint of BC, E is the midpoint of AC, AB is the midpoint of F, F is the midpoint of AB. So here all the three medians intersecting at one point, that point of intersection is called centroid. Point of intersection of three medians in a triangle is called centroid. How to find the centroid? If they give vertices, coordinates of vertices x1 y1, x2 y2 and x3 y3, that is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. If they ask to find the length of the median, length of the median AD, how to find that? First you have to find the midpoint of BC, that is x2 plus x3 by 2 comma y2 plus y3 by 2. What is the midpoint formula? So in section formula I said that AB is a line segment joining with 2 points A and B. The coordinates of A x1 comma y1, coordinates of B x2 comma y2. Now this line segment is divided by another point Px comma y in the ratio m1 is to m2. This I said that section formula. If m1 is to m2 is 1 is to 1, then Px comma y is equal to the formula is x1 plus x2 by 2 comma y1 plus y2 by 2. This is midpoint formula. Okay, when the point lies exactly in middle of the line segment AB, when it is possible, when the ratio is 1 is to 1, and this is G is denoted by, that is centroid. Centroid is denoted by G, right? So formula is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. This is the coordinate geometry. You practice mostly on points of trisection and check whether the given points are collinear or not for 4 marks, and area of the triangle. If the area of the triangle is 0, the given points are collinear. If the points are collinear, find the value of K. That is third exercise in your 7th chapter. You can do that. And 4th exercise is slope. Okay, finding the slope of a line segment joining with the 2 points, that is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. If you have any doubts in this chapter or progressions and quadratic equations, pair of linear equations in 2 variables, these pair of linear equations in 2 variables, quadratic equations, I made already one video, separate video. You can watch those videos. For progressions, coordinate geometry and real numbers, especially in logarithms, if you have any doubts, you can write in description section. I will make one more video. And if you need any important questions means also you can write it. I will make one separate video for these important questions from this paper 1. Okay, thank you very much. Practice well.